guys, so today I'll show you 5 ways of how to step into your new era. So first of all, lock the old doors, because if you keep the old doors open, you won't be able to enter new doors or to lock new doors. You will always stay in your comfort zone. This means you always will stay in the one room. You can be in 2 rooms at the same time. You choose one room and you choose to stay in it. That's why it's so important to take care of that and to look, okay, I'm ready to close the old one and enter the new one. Because new doors always be like new chances. You will always get a new chance to learn something from it or to experience something differently than you did like before. Because I understand, it makes you feel uncomfortable because you don't really know what's there. But you know you should have to. You should enter a new door to have a different life, to experience something differently, to find maybe something else that maybe fulfills you, something that makes you feel better, or something that keeps like helping you with achieving what you actually want to achieve. And there are always like these 3 things that could be. Either it's a lesson, either it's something you learn from it, and either it's something, it's a gift. But you don't really know that before. Like, you have to take the risk to see if that actually is true or if it actually is like that. Because you will also learn something not only like in life but also mentally. You will be able to take like maybe also another perspective, to see something differently, something you saw like differently before that you see differently now. The next point is, don't be afraid of taking risks, because being afraid of them will keep you in a comfort zone. You will always keep yourself there. You will not give yourself the possibility to experience something new, something different. Being afraid doesn't always mean it has to do with something you experienced before. Being afraid could also something be that you never experienced before. Something you don't really know how to handle it. Something you imagine yourself like 1,000 thoughts. There are 1,000 situations that could be, and you don't really know that, but you're afraid of that, and maybe also think, what if I'm not capable of handling it? But no risks, no better life. You will only get a different result if you behave differently, if you change your habits, but you have to will for it. You have to give yourself for it, because in the end it's just your brain that says stop, but you could take action, but you say no, I can't, because something stops me, but it's just your mind, but you could take the step. Yeah, now I found it. If you don't take a risk, you lose a chance. Because what if the life after it, or after you take the risk, really does feel better? What if you regret it like later? What if you think like 1 year ago or 2 years later, you say, shit, why didn't I took this chance? And just because I was afraid, just because of a feeling. It's the same with the gym. If you don't take the risk, or if you don't go like to the point where you really can anymore, you will not really see progresses. You won't see a goal. If you always stay in your comfort zone there, and if you always stop where you start to feel uncomfortable, you will never grow. That's why it's so important to make something or to make a decision that's differently than the other ones. But also, as an example, ice cold showering. This also could be a possible way to train that, because if you do that, like, you have to go out of your comfort zone to do that, because it feels uncomfortable at the moment, but after it you will feel so much better. So I want you to look for 1 or 2 things in your life where you could change that with it, where you could take the risk to learn it, because with learning you also it's getting more a habit, and you build from one habit, you build the next ones. And if you train that, you're getting better at taking risks. You're getting better at discipline. Yes. And the next thing is also, don't be afraid of being alone. I get it. it can be like scared the thought of being alone. But if it's the only thing like that really helps you to achieve your goals, then do it. You have to take priorities. You have to say, okay, I prioritize this or I prioritize that. Do I prioritize people where I make a lose like anytime, or do I prioritize my goals? And it doesn't mean that everyone will stop you from achieving your goals, but if like an environment that broke you can heal you. Because if you listen also to the opinion of other people, it most likely isn't something positive. Most of the time it's something like they stop you from achieving. They start like with that you start to doubt yourself, the decisions you're doing. Also the next step you think, okay, no, it's impossible, but it's not. That's why it's so important who you surround yourself with. And I'm also a person, I don't really have like a lot of friends. I just have like one really friend, and some people that are there for me, but also like I'm just like 90% of the time alone. And yeah, I don't really like it all the time, but with that I can focus on what really matters. I can focus on my goals even if I don't want to, but later on I can look for people. But my goals, like the longer I wait, the longer I took to like achieve them, and the less I make experiences and the less I can learn from it, because everything else is a distraction. And if you like try to like get those things away, you will be focused more likely. Yeah, and the next thing is fall in love with the process. I know it can be hard sometimes, because also sometimes you start to doubt yourself if you don't really see any progresses, if you don't really see something that changes. But if you start to love the thing, like the unknown, the thing that could happen or something that is in your future, and also like the steps you're doing now, it will make you like the path or the journey way easier. It also gives you like more peace in your life. You don't stress yourself all the time, because you like the process, you like what you're going through, you like the difficult, and you like also like the easy parts. And there will be times or things that will be harder than some other things, but if you love the whole process, it's just like better. You can do something with it, because you only can win with that. And only with the loving part you can gain so much from it. You can learn so much from it, only just by that, just by loving it. And yeah, if you don't do that, then ask yourself, why do you don't love the process? Because just winning a goal is something that isn't really like possible, because you always have to risk something, and you always have to like have in mind that when you achieve something, people will ask you how you achieved it, and not just a goal. And you have a story to tell. Yeah, so next thing, staying consistent. It's so important to stay consistent, because either way you will fail. If you're not consistent, you will not, like that has also something to do with discipline. If you do, like those things are both in hand with each other, and if you don't use that, because or if you don't use the chance to do that or to think like that, the consistency is the key, you will fail. Consistency is what keeping you going. Consistency is the main part of the journey. It helps you in bad days, but it helps also in good days. And consistency doesn't always mean you have to give 100%. If you have some days where you can give like 100%, then it's okay. It's some days you also only can give like 1%. You can also give like 10%. It doesn't matter, as long as you show up and as long as you stay consistent. Don't like never quit for a long time. Take maybe sometimes a break, but not for too long, because then you will lose the focus, you will lose the path. That's why it's so important to stay consistent. Yeah, so I hope you guys like this, enjoy this video, and if you want to say something, just let me know. And yeah, see you in the next video. Bye.